Hey friends, in this video I'm going to speak with you about the ban on evictions. Yes, evictions. That ban is coming to an end very soon. So I'm going to talk about who it impacts, when it's coming to an end, and most importantly, what you can do next. So if you're interested in this topic, watch this video all the way until the end. Guys, before I get into it, as usual, thank you so much for watching this video and for being part of this community. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, go ahead, subscribe right now. I come out with videos every week about hot topics on Capitol Hill and about immigration issues and news, so you don't want to miss any of those good videos. Now let's get into it, friends. I have so much to share with you in this one, but it's not going to be very long. So let me refresh your memory, guys, about this ban on evictions. It was in the CARES Act, and it's a 120-day moratorium, right, on evictions. And so it is from March 27th, 2020 until July 25th, guys, 2020. And so July 25th is coming up. It's literally right around the corner. And so this ban on evictions is drawing to an end. It's coming to an end very soon. And so under this particular moratorium, what happens is landlords are not allowed to evict their tenants during this time. That's number one. And number two, they're supposed to give them a 30-day notice to vacate. And so you might be doing the calculations in your mind and you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, July 25th, that's coming up. So you mean to tell me that my landlord can give me notice starting on July 25th? Yes, starting July 25th, that landlord can in fact give you notice if you owe him or her rent. Under the moratorium, he cannot take any adverse actions against you, such as filing an eviction suit against you in court. No, not during the moratorium. But certainly after the moratorium ends, he can give you that notice, and then as early as August 24th, he can in fact file that eviction suit against you. So those are very important dates for you to keep in mind. So you might be saying to yourself, well, who does this actually apply to? Does it apply to me? I'm a renter. Well, this is under the CARES Act. This is very specific. This applies to covered dwellings. Covered dwellings are rental units that either participate in federal assistance programs or are subject to a federally backed mortgage loan or are subject to a federally backed multifamily mortgage loan. And so we're talking about properties that are receiving certain programs from the government, right? For example, like Section 8 or housing choice vouchers or the low income housing tax credit, but it also includes those homeowners whose mortgage is backed by the federal government. And so we're talking specifically about mortgages that are backed by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, or also FHA, right? Federal Housing Administration, and also mortgages that are backed by the VA, the Department of Veterans Affairs, and also the Department of Agriculture. This can be very broad, and it impacts 12.3 million renters out of a total of 43 million. So 43 million renters in America, and out of those 12.3 million renters are protected here under this ban. So again, when this ban is lifted, if it's lifted on July 25th, then all of these people will lose the protection that was afforded to them under the CARES Act. Now, you should also know, guys, that the HEROES Act, right, which I'm going to link to here because I've talked about the HEROES Act a few times, but under the HEROES Act, that $3 trillion stimulus package that's the House of Representatives passed, and it's still being considered by the Senate, and certainly the president hasn't signed it yet. But under the HEROES Act, it would actually extend this ban or this moratorium on evictions for a total of 12 months. Right now, it's in place, as you guys know, as I've mentioned, 120 days or 4 months. And so this would extend it by an additional 8 months. So we'll see what Congress actually does with that particular proposal to extend this moratorium on evictions. One thing you should know is that private landlords are not subject to this, because again, this only includes those that are considered covered dwellings. And so private landlords are able to take action against renters. However, states across the country had also enacted their own ban on evictions. And so, for example, states like New York just extended their moratorium until the coronavirus restrictions that are in place right now are lifted here in New York. So that's how long our ban extends. So really, we don't have an end date yet. And so if you're in New York, this is how our ban works. So first of all, the courts here in New York are not allowed to evict anyone during this moratorium. However, it doesn't stop landlords from obtaining a money judgment against their renters. They just can't evict them. They can't get them out during this time. But other states, guys, other states like Texas, they also had their moratorium in place and they've let it go. It's lapsed and they no longer have that protection in place for renters. Florida extended theirs, California extended theirs, and some other states extended theirs. I'm going to put a link below, which is a great resource for you to go and check your state. Click on that link and check your state to see what moratorium they may or may not have in place right now that protects you. So you might be asking yourself, well, what should I do? I live in a home or I'm renting in a unit that is a covered dwelling. What can I do? Well, what you can do is this. Number one, urge Congress to get back to work, right? We're in the middle of a national emergency, guys, and Congress is still out on recess, and they're expected to come back any day now. But still, all of these recesses are completely unnecessary during this time, particularly with this big deadline that's coming up on July 25th. So just pick up the phone, call your member of Congress and complain. Let him or her know how you think about this issue. Secondly, what you can do is, like I mentioned earlier, check your state to see, click the link below to check the state that you're in to see when the moratorium will end and what additional protections they have in place for you during this time. Thirdly, what you can do is work with a nonprofit organization to get additional resources to protect you if you're having a real tough time paying the rent and meeting your other bills. There's a lot of great resources out there. I'm going to link to a few of them below. Click on those links, check out those nonprofits and see whether they can assist you. And then last, work with your landlord. Work out some arrangement with your landlord. I should have made that number one, actually. It's always best to communicate with your landlord. They are more lenient these days. Work out some sort of deferred payment plan or something like that, or perhaps the landlord would agree to waive in any late fees and other things like that. Just communicate with your landlord. This is definitely not a time for you and your landlord to be going in two different directions. So just to recap, guys, the ban on evictions that's in place under the first CARES Act, that ban, guys, is about to expire on July 25th unless Congress acts and extends it. Secondly, certain states have their own moratorium in place that will protect you, that does protect you, I should say. And so check out your state, learn more about what they have going on that can protect you. And then last, guys, as I've said, work with your landlord, keep open communication with your landlord, and try to work things out with him or her. Guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Be sure to share it with other people, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.